At Hampshire, I studied political science and media theory, and I started to make films about ideas. A few years after graduating, I made a short film called Why Cybraceros. And the idea of the film was a kind of update of the original Bracero program, right? And the Bracero program in the 50s was a program set up between the U.S. and Mexican government where the U.S. received Mexican farm labor to work in the fields, picking fruit, doing the harvest, and then when the work was done, they were sent home. Their wives were left in Mexico as collateral, and they were never ever going to become citizens or vote or get health care or unionize. They were here to work and then sent back home. And in the 90s, there was a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment. But there was something else going on. There was the internet. And I had this kind of nightmare fantasy of a world in which maybe in the near future, the border would be closed and workers would stay in Latin America, connect their bodies to a kind of internet, and control a machine that did their labor in America so that their pure labor came across the border, but their bodies stayed out.
The United States Government Department of Labor is excited to announce a new
It was kind of this update of the Bracero program, and so I called it the Cybracero program, right? And I made this 5-minute film that just basically spelled out that idea. It was like a promotional film. And I submitted it to film festivals, it played around the country, and I put it up on the internet. There it had a whole other life because people thought it was real, you know? And that project ultimately became the seed for my feature film.
Alex Rivera is a New York-based filmmaker and new media artist whose work has been screened at festivals including the Berlin International Film Festival, New Directions, New Films, at the Guggenheim Museum, at Telluride, at Sundance, as well as other international venues. His film and new media work engage with digital and networked technologies to tell new urgent stories, constantly pushing the limits of form, sometimes using humor and satire, and always raising urgent questions about migrations, racialization, and citizenship.
When I was studying politics at Hampshire, you know, I was trying to not look at the moment. You know, when you're in a political science class, you don't spend a lot of time talking about who the president is. You talk instead about the big movements of history, the big struggles over power, who's winning, who's losing, who can, you know, who controls the system that we all live in, that we all agree to live in. Who set it up? Where does it come from? Those big questions are what we think about in political theory, and those are the kind of questions I try to look at in my films. Hampshire absolutely was a place where I felt encouraged and free to mix disciplines and to sit in the social science department, take classes there, learn about history, study politics and the struggles over power, and then have another foot over in the humanities, making films, making videos, and make films and videos about politics. It was totally logical to me, and it was totally logical to the professors. The way my mind works is things are always crossing over, and I'm the kind of person that loves to read a book that's you know, about history, or read the news and then turn around and make an animation about it. That's what I like to do. And so going to a school where things are kind of cross-disciplinary, where there's not big walls separating every department, and where I can make a film but have a historian talk about it, or make a, you know, or talk about history in a film and have my film professor tell me about my editing. That to me was natural and something that was very easy to do at Hampshire. We're always students, all of us, students, and we're all aspiring filmmakers, even people who've made 2 or 3 films, people who've been nominated, win Academy Awards, and we're all learning, we're all permanently aspiring in this art form. Often filmmakers who have social commitments or political commitments, we make documentaries and they're very sort of straight and they hit sometimes, and sometimes they hit big audiences. But I always feel like if we can twist the form or make people laugh or make them seduced by the imagery or surprised when they get the message, that you have the potential to reach a bigger audience. All of my work is an experiment, a kind of hunt for the right genre or a new genre in which we can discuss seriously, this political world we live in.